Hello and welcome to an interview in our new office with ARK Architects. Today we are with Manuel Moriche, the architect and co-founder of ARK Architects, who have been developing top quality homes for over 25 years. Welcome, Manuel.
Thank you very much. A pleasure.
It's a pleasure to have you here with us. So let's start by asking you a little bit about ARK. How did this start and where did the idea come from?
Well, ARK started 25 years ago. We are three partners. And actually, in the office, we are between engineers, architects, and technical architects, around 30 people working. And the idea started from three friends that tried to enjoy of doing this job.
Really? And are you all three partners? You're all three architects?
I am the architect, and my other two partners, they are technical architects.
Okay.
One of them is my brother, and the other is a friend.
Okay. Understood. And how many people are you in total with all the construction sites?
In the office, we are around 30. Between architects, technical architects, engineers. But if we also call the building sites, we can be talking about more than 100 people.
Wow. Wow, that's huge.
Yes.
That's huge. And you have some beautiful offices in Sotogrande. I've been there. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
A really beautiful place to take clients to.
Yes, we tried, when we designed our offices, we tried to make it look like a home. Because we have the perception that if you were comfortable, you work better. So when you arrive at our offices, it looks like a cozy area. We try that everybody feels comfortable and our clients feels like at home.
Well, absolutely. I think that the people are the most important factor in the company, and they make you grow and make you achieve things. And if you have everyone happy in an office working, it's the best thing.
Completely agree, 100%. And it's like a family. You need to be responsible, to be concentrated, but you have to make it feel as a family.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're also very much trying to do that as well.
Yes,
without the
it as well.
Yes, thank you. Well, and tell me please, what is your personal interpretation of your architectural style?
Look, Arthur, I'm not too far about talking about the style when we talk about architecture. I think architecture has to be good. When I mean good, I mean link it to the place and to the client needs and well built. But if I have to define our style, I could say it's a blend between classical and modern. It's like a timeless style. Is what I try to achieve, always. But honestly, I'm not too fan about talking about the style.
And tell me please, speaking about ARK, one of the foundations of the concept, I believe, of your business is that you are offering the service that typically on the construction site would be offered by three different companies. Because on one hand, you are providing the full architecture services. Then you have also the building company part and the project management. So it's like the full pack that you offer to the clients, which I understand takes out all the potential headache from them. But this is not a very standard way to proceed on the market. What led you to do it this way, which as well, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, is one of the reasons as well of your company being so successful?
Yes, it's a very good question, Arthur. It's exactly like that. So everything comes from the perception that architecture is a build idea. So architects, we could design beautiful things, but the paper supports everything. We need to build well and precise. And that was the reason because we created in like 20 years ago our own building company only to support our designs. The building process is a little bit stressful for our clients, and we try to protect them from all this process. So when you got everything in one company, you can be much more efficient and precise in the building process, and you can create like an umbrella that protects our client from all the things that goes around the building. So we just try to create a beautiful journey from the beginning of the first sketches to the end for our plans. And I think the way we organize our company, we can achieve that. That was the main reason, because ARK is what it is today.
Understood. Very interesting. So I understand that as well. This means that when you are at the first stage with the sketches, with the drawings, you are able to already foresee the potential costs that the client will have to build the house. And if the client, for example, as I know they many times say, like, I want to spend so much money on the construction, this allows you to adapt and foresee and tell him, direct the client in terms, if you want to take this decision, this will mean this cost, right?
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah, because that is exactly like that. You have explained perfectly.
That's one as well from me. Sometimes we've sold plots to clients, etc., and the clients asked us to help them in the building process. And one of the main problems that we encounter at the initial stage, especially with the clients, they are not professionals, like you said, and they need you to direct them, is that I very much like what you said, that they well, I heard this phrase before, and it was in a different way. It said that what's the strongest material on the building construction site? The strongest? Paper, because it holds everything. And that's the problem that I saw many times when working with architects at the beginning, especially with a client that doesn't exactly understand all the details and cost, that you draw something magnificent, beautiful, but then the building code comes in, and it is a surprise, and usually the building code comes in 3-4 months later after the drawing process finished. So it's like
it's a circle.
Yes, it is. Tell me please, is your specialization of ARK Architects in luxury villas only, or do you do other things as well?
We are mainly specialized at this moment in luxury homes, luxury villas. Yes.
And how many villas have you built approximately over these years?
In total, you could be surprised how many, but more than 100 villas. At this moment, we are building 14 projects, but the smallest is 1,000 square meters built.
Wow.
So that is a lot. That is a lot.
Wow. And how much, as you said that, how big is the biggest house you ever built?
I think a house of around 4,000 square meters, that for me is more a hotel than a home. But somehow the houses and the villas we build, they are like 6-star luxury hotels. So for me, the key factor is to make it look as a home. Because when you design a house and build a house of 4,000 square meters, that is a very big house. And at the end, you can get that feeling of being in your home. That is the key factor from and yeah, possible to do, play with the design, with the light, with the materials.
Absolutely. I also know this from seeing so many houses for sale and visiting properties on a daily basis, that sometimes you feel how an architect in a house managed to create this whole feeling, even if the house is 2,000 square meters. Or sometimes it's the opposite. It's 1,000 and it feels like massive and not homely. And at the end of the day, clients want space, but no matter how big is the house, they want to feel at home.
Exactly. Consider something, when we work on one of our projects, from the beginning of the process, we are working architects, interior designers, lighting specialists, landscaping designers, and the client, because the client gets part of the process. That is also very important, because at the end we are building the dreams of someone. And that you can feel how we can control everything through the process, and we can get to make the dreams of that person that they are not capable to do. So we are the arms to get that.
So the arms, the legs, and the
and the brain, maybe the brain.
And tell me please, these 14 houses that you mentioned that you are creating, the 14 dreams that you are creating, where are they located?
Most of our projects are located in Marbella area and Sotogrande. As you know, we are located, our offices are located in Sotogrande, but we are working in Marbella, Sagaleta, Estepona, all there. We are also doing international projects as designers. When we work, for example, in UAs, we are commissioned to make a design. We have to collaborate with local companies there. But it's something that as the brand is growing, we are also doing that, isn't it?
Wow, very interesting. And tell me please about Sotogrande, because this is an interesting subject. Well, your offices are located in Sotogrande. Has it always been like that?
Yes, yes, yes.
And you have also done quite a few projects in Sotogrande. And if we talk about luxury villas, your projects are, well, the most interesting that I have seen on the market in Sotogrande.
Thank you.
And Sotogrande is an area that in the past years, or even 5 years ago, I would myself associate with a property market of, let's say, up to 5 million euros, more or less. But in the past years, we have seen a lot of growth there, a lot of investors coming in, new hotels, new restaurants, beach clubs. And the price ticket of the homes that I see now, they are more closer to the 10 million euros in some cases, and even starting to hit the 20 million mark at some stages. And one of the most expensive houses there at the moment are your projects. So I wanted to know your opinion generally on the luxury sector of the real estate market in Sotogrande. How do you see it? Do you see this as a location that is going to carry on evolving in this direction? Should the investors invest in Sotogrande in the luxury market, or are they already too late, or is it still too soon?
No. I honestly think that Sotogrande is I could say, the hidden pearl of Costa del Sol. It's a place to discover. The market in Sotogrande is changing. It's moving on a different direction. Since Orion, the capital fund, bought Sotogrande, I think 6 years ago, they decided to invest in Sotogrande, and they are putting on the map. I remember when we started the Mirador, that is a gated community of 6 villas that we designed for Orion, and we built. I remember my first meetings in London with the fund, and at this moment, trying to sell houses above 10 million in Sotogrande was like a joke, was a dream. And like 3-4 years after, all of them sold, and some projects close to 15-16 millions in Sotogrande. So the final, and it's real, that has been made, has been built, and has been sold.
And which year was it sold?
That was 2-3 years ago, when the market was not so good.
Correct.
And today, some of our clients in Sotogrande are receiving offers for their houses of 20 millions. Wow. So the financial market in Sotogrande has moved and has changed. It will take time to be Marbella. Honestly, I don't think the comparison with Marbella is fair, because Sotogrande is urbanization. And the DNA, the character, and the soul of Sotogrande is completely different. But I think definitely promoters should have an eye on Sotogrande for the future.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Very interesting. Yes, when I visit Sotogrande, I still get this a bit goosebumps. Because I still see so much land, and it's like a real estate agent's dream in terms of, getting in there and starting so many possibly projects. But as well, like you said, that there's already so many examples that maybe also people don't know that much of this price tags of 15-16 million selling. And I was in this community that you mentioned the other day, looking at one of the houses, and the impression I had was absolutely stunning. From the moment you would drive in with the private security,
Exactly.
the middle road that connected, it was very, very special feeling.
Yes, it's a nice feeling. That is the feeling of Sotogrande. You live enclosed in nature, surrounded by nature. We have 6 or 7 of the best golf courses in Europe. We have the Polo in summer. We have the port.
Yes.
We have the Almoraima Natural Park, 15 minutes driving. We have a lot of things. The style of Sotogrande is pretty much about family, sports, privacy. If you feel well with that lifestyle, maybe Sotogrande is your place.
And another very interesting question that I wanted to ask you for a long time, actually, because like you said, you've been so much in the process of the building as well, apart from the architecture. So, and as you have developed so many luxury villas, you have all the information. And over the years, recently, we've seen a lot of increase on the construction costs for luxury villas, but it is very hard for us to find precise information on this aspect. So I was curious to know if you could share with me your opinion in terms of what is the medium construction cost per square meter for a project of yours, let's say like 4 years ago, and what is it today? How much has been the increase?
Okay, good question again. Trying to talk about price per square meter is difficult, because when we need to talk about qualities, about services, about indirect costs, is very difficult. What happens with ARK is that as we control the whole process, we control a lot the cost, because when you have everything in company, you can control the cost and be much more efficient. Answering to your question, I would say that, for example, for 1,000 square meters, how? Because when you talk about price per square meter, it depends a lot of how many square meters you build. The repercussion per square meter goes up or down, depending. So
The bigger the house, the cheaper is the square meter.
Correctly, essentially. But talking about very high level of qualities, including all the indirect cost.
I think the cost, just to clarify, we are talking about the crane, we are talking about the people, the managing on the site.
I'm talking about the fees of the architects, the fees of the engineering, the fees of the project manager, the fees of the landscaping designers, the licenses,
So
insurances,
everything.
everything.
The whole package.
And something very important, that is, when you start a building process, you can find during the process things that is very difficult to preview, because building a luxury home is like making a watch, but even more difficult. So including that extra cost, because in the middle of a process, how can you go to your client and say, you have an extra cost? That is, for me, it's not professional. You need, we as professionals need to study and protect our clients from that. So if we include everything, we could say that for a house of 1,000 square meters, we could be today moving between 3,500 euros per square meter and 4,000 euros per square meter, all in cost. All in cost. It will depend on the qualities, on the design, because not all the designs are the same cost.
Absolutely.
And the level of qualities that you want to bring to your project. But we could be there.
And this is today.
That is today.
And how much did it change, let's say, compared to 4 or 5 years ago?
Honestly, Arthur, it shouldn't change too much, because if you are professional and you are not a speculator, you only charge to your clients the cost of the labor, of the materials. And that is not huge. So probably a few years ago, the cost could be 3,200, 3,000, and today is 3,500. That is the increment, to be fair. And so when you hear about that prices moves too much in a short period of time, it's because of speculation. It's not real. If you work with professionals, that should be under control.
Understood, thank you. Another interesting subject that I found when I was a bit looking into ARK Architects was the concept of the neuroarchitecture.
Yeah.
What is this? Please explain to me. It's very curious.
But basically, good architectures change the life of people. For me, when you have the opportunity or to live in one of these homes, or to live on one of these places, you feel that you change somehow. The good architecture has this impact on life of people. We believe that. The neuroarchitecture is the scientific way to measure how the good architecture works will impact on your brain. Basically is that. Neuroarchitecture is no more than testing what architecture can produce on on your body. How can change it?
Is this something that you include in your processes when you're studying the architecture of a home?
It's something that we do not bring our clients and put nothing on the head to test that. No, it's something that is interesting for us because we realize that architecture works with your brain and creates sensations on you and can change you inside. But it's like a part of our investigation.
Well, I absolutely agree with you that it creates that first starting with the sensation of aspiration. Before you even own the property, you already can aspire to it. And this can also motivate you and change your life. But I always said from the point of the real estate agent view that the property has an impact on your lifestyle. First of all, due to its location. And when chosen correctly, your lifestyle can also change in terms of what you do on a daily basis. Now suddenly you live next to the beach and you suddenly start walking every day on the beach, something that you would never do before because it would take you 25 minutes to drive there, and we don't want to drive for 25 minutes.
And this,
Yes, absolutely. And
I had a conversation with one of my clients this summer, and he said, I have lived in a lot of different homes, but this home that you have designed and built for us has something that is very special. He's a businessman, he works a lot, he's traveling the whole day. And when he goes to his house, after half an hour being there, he's completely relaxed. And he said to me, that sensation is the first time I have on my life. So I thought, I have done something well. This is what I need. The house was created for that, to create this peaceful place for you, to bring you to that level of feeling and sensation. And for me, that is good architecture.
no, absolutely. I believe that this should be the final reason of building a house, precisely this. And then the question is, what is this worth? There is no price on this. You know, if you can find the right people that can create this for you, because there's so many millions of things, like you said, that you have to protect the client from in this whole process. And if you can achieve this is, you know, the whole point, and it's priceless.
Completely agree. And this is what we try to do every day for our company.
And another detail that I very much enjoy about your projects, the ones that I've been lucky enough to see, I noticed that there is a very big effect or attention to detail in the landscaping of your houses. Is it true that this play an important role in the property, in the architecture design? Because when I walked into your homes, I always somehow noticed this, that there was a very special attention to landscape compared to any other house I saw, and this would also create a very special feeling for me.
Yes, and it's because of the conception of the architecture we got. So for me, architecture has two starting points, every project: the place, the location, and the client. So I need to understand what the client needs. I need to hear to the client, to analyze the client, his needs, his taste, and then hear to the place, to the location, to the light, to the topography, to the nature. And from these two things, I need to create an idea for the place. For that reason, all our houses try to be very integrated in the location. Every time I start a project, I am thinking what I'm going to give back to the place to allow me to insert there, to be part of it. And the landscaping is a very important part for me, because it's the link it with the place. In one side we have the architecture, we have the nature, and the garden, the landscaping, is the key that allow me to insert architecture on the place, to make it look completely integrated. For that reason, we created more than 15 years ago, an interior landscaping design area into ARK. And when we start a project, we start analyzing the location, the nature, the place, and starting to thinking on the garden. I always remember what Barragan says, a famous Mexican architect, that he always said, I like to design houses that looks like gardens. And for me, that is something that I always try to do on my projects.
Well, from my side, I can say that you have achieved it 100%. For me, when I've seen several of your houses, I immediately noticed this. And it's a very beautiful addition to the architecture. This landscape.
It is. That feeling of living in nature, that is no price.
And tell me, please, what do you think will happen with architecture in the next 10, 20 years? Where are we heading to? What's going to happen?
Definitely, architecture is going to move depending on the technology. Since the first 100 years ago, the big revolution came through the industry, the industrial revolution that changed the world. Yeah. And recently, the big revolution is coming from the technology, from internet, so every day we can see that our homes are more and more technological and more, because every year we got new things, new technology. So probably that will be the future. In a very short future, we will arrive at our homes, open the door and talk. Yeah. And the house will respond to us. We will be very connected. Life has changed a lot. We used to work from home. We used to live in the homes in a different way. So the houses and the design will need to adapt to that lifestyle. That probably technology will be a key factor.
And it happens so fast as well.
Very fast.
Yes. Manuel, last question. If you were to design your own house and you could do anything you want, would you do a design of a house more like the 4,000 square meter? Or would you do something like completely different if it was for yourself?
Look, Arthur, I have recently designed my house. And I have moved to my new house a month ago.
Ah, fantastic.
And what I was surprised is that I have made one, it's not too different to the projects I do. Because there is a lot of me on all the projects. There is a lot of the clients, there is a lot of the place, but there is part of me. So honestly, I would do, and I will try to enjoy as any of the other projects I do, and this is what I have done. And I'm really happy living on.
That's well, congratulations. I hope you enjoyed your house.
Thank you very much.
Located?
I will. It's located in upper Sotogrande, to the south. It's a very calm area with nice views.
Amazing. The place you need to create more homes.
Yes.
Fantastic, Manuel. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to have you. Thank you for your time and for such interesting answers.
Thank you, and congratulations for all your jobs. Beautiful offices. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Very nice to see you.
Thank you.